Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that file I talked about called a solution. And the solution is just a structure for organizing your projects. And so inside of Visual Studio, the solution helps us maintain all of the state information that we might need about a project. And like I showed you in the last video, that's a .sln file, right? It's for solution. And we also get a .suo for things like user-specific solution options. So if you went into the properties and changed some things, then that would show up in the SUO file. But we're primarily worried about this SLN. What is a solution? And so you can kind of think of it like this, like a solution is a big container. And inside of that container, we can have all of the items that we need to run any project that we might have. In fact, inside of the solution could be a project itself. And a solution could actually contain many of these different projects, which is something that happens when we get larger solutions and we have larger projects. We might have multiple projects inside of one solution. And so we might have a project in here that is the main code. We might have a test project that contains all of our unit test items. We might have images or icons. We might have, maybe if you have music files like MP3s or MP4s that are used inside of your application. We have config data. We have the solution user option data, right? Everything inside goes on inside of this solution. And so as we create these projects, the solution is ultimately the top of that hierarchy. And if we remember what we looked at inside of that solution explorer, we had that solution on top. Underneath we had the project, whatever we'd named it. Underneath that, files like the .cs, which contain the actual source code, configuration information. We have those references, right? So all of that stuff belongs in there. And so if we end up with a second project, then we would actually have two of these items under the one solution. And so I just wanted you to kind of wrap your brain around that a little bit. The solution itself, you can actually open that SLN file and see what goes on inside. It's just a bunch of kind of variables and state data and doesn't actually contain any source code. We never go in there and put anything in there. Everything's managed by Visual Studio. So I just kind of wanted you to understand what it is and the purpose and what it does so that you know why we're doing this. And as we move into larger projects, it will start to make a little more sense of like why we have this different kind of hierarchy with these multiple projects, what goes on inside of here. And then ultimately, if you're going to go open a previous project that you'd been working on, I showed you how to find that SLN file on your hard drive so that you can open that and get what you need to do inside of Visual Studio. So I hope this isn't too confusing, but I just wanted to address it so that it's not confusing and you understand why we're doing what we're doing.